Okay, so something interesting today. Indiana Congressman. Do you know who the Indiana Congressperson is?
I don't know who many Congress people are except for Alexander Ocasio-Cortez.
Well, this might be one you want to get to know because he introduced a bill to cut off federal unemployment funds to convicted rioters. Okay.
What's a convicted rioter? And how do you get convicted of rioting?
By rioting and getting convicted. No. So I would assume that that's somebody who, much like the Antifa that we see on the news all day, every day that Portland chooses not to convict.
I know
they're not convicted.
I know you're about to go there, but did you see the Antifa.com links to Joe Biden's campaign site?
And BLM.
And BLM?
BLM will take you to Joe Biden's website.
If you type in BLM.com, it takes you to Joe Biden?
If you go down a couple links, yes.
And they get all upset that one person who said the Ku Klux Klan founder, whoever that person is, or said, "Oh, I like Donald Trump," and Donald Trump doesn't even support that person, does not support him, and they got all up in arms. But now BLM and Antifa.com goes to Joe Biden's campaign page.
It's almost like there's a double standard. Almost like there's but at any rate, this Indiana congressman introduced a bill to cut off federal unemployment funds to convicted rioters, and I want to know what you think about that.
Well, I guess I'm confused on the convicted rioter. I mean, we have tons of rioters in Portland, peaceful protesters that turn into rioters. What constitutes a convicted rioter? But I'm all for holding back federal funding on anything when they're not abiding by the country as a whole. Because one thing that I think we forget is that we're United States of America. We're not just California, New York, and I don't know, whatever other state that matters. California, New York, LA, and the left coast, slowly building up to being
also known as those in power if we got rid of the Electoral College.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess that is the question, because I mean, and again, we just saw in Portland not too long ago, I think it's actually this weekend or in the last 4 or 5 days, that a person got murdered for going to a Trump rally. I mean, he was some sort of, patriot right-wing guy, and he got murdered, and the person who murdered him, I believe, is already out of jail. He basically went to the jailing process, and he's been let go.
You know why?
Not only that, but it's the second time.
Probably because he was at risk of getting coronavirus, and so they needed to release him so that he didn't get
Well, I think our video's over now.
COVID-19.
Yes, that's true. But no, I think it obviously shows favoritism to some degree. I think it shows political favoritism, and I think that shows that some people, particularly, I know that Ted Wheeler, the mayor of Portland, doesn't seem to want to be very harsh on convicted people, Antifa members, BLM members. They don't want to hold people accountable.
No, he wanted to push Trump away when he brought in the federal officers to make arrests on people. And I just got into a little bit of a Facebook talk with some people who said, whatever Ted Wheeler's statement is that he put out there was a really good statement. I said, no, it's not, because he's condoning the violence and the riots that are going on in Portland. And I have businesses shutting down. I have people moving out of there. I mean, real estate's going down. People's livelihoods, they built so much of their life to build this business, and it's just going away. And Ted Wheeler's doing nothing about it. And then when Trump makes an attempt to do something about it, he gets ridiculed for it and says, I can't believe they're doing this. And both Kate Brown and Ted Wheeler kind of, called Trump out on it. And now, I love the fact that if Trump or anybody could hold out federal funding for any given reason to rioters, protesters gone wild, or whatever you want to call it.
Or cities that harbor those people.
Cities that harbors those people, yeah. Would we call that sanctuary cities in some instances? And yeah, I'm 100% on board with that.
Yeah, I am too. And I think that unfortunately, there's a lot of people in our constituency, particularly Portland, that seem to be very against the idea of federal government intervening, which is ironic, because if it were the other way around, they'd be totally for it. But I'm just curious of our listeners' take on federal level intervention on some of these issues, because I'm personally for it. What about you?
I'm for federal, if the federal government is Donald Trump. So go ahead and send us your feedback, and we'd love to hear it. Go ahead and comment or send us an email at aaron@twoopinionatedguys.com or marshall@twoopinionatedguys.com. Thanks, guys.
America.